What's up, guys? James Palms here. It's a glorious day. I think it's the 6th of June. Full sun kind of day. It's still the morning. Got a tiny bit of shade in the pool area and on this palm, just as the sun crests across the top of that giant black walnut. But this is what the wind does to your plants when it's a windy high of about 91 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius today. Another smoking hot one, and there's quite a bit of humidity. The breeze actually doesn't make it feel so terrible. It's not so terrible. I love the heat, but I just mean for some people it's very warm, so the breeze makes it feel quite tolerable. Not tolerable, it's still hot, but oh, you know what I mean. Anyways, this video is not about that. So windmill palm just finishing up flowering. So when to water your palms, how much to water them. This is what I still seem to get this question all the time. So for your potted ones are pretty easy. If it's the summer and your summer temperatures are 85 Fahrenheit or and let's say 85 Fahrenheit or 90 Fahrenheit or 100 Fahrenheit or anything over 85, so like nice warm weather, you can pretty much water most of these palms every single day if you wanted to. And because they have holes in the bottom, of course, make sure your pots all have drainage in the bottom and make sure that the soil is well draining. When the soil is dry, it shouldn't really stick together too much. Obviously this sticks together because the roots are all holding it together, but and the pot itself should, if it's dry, it should almost float in your hand. It should go it should feel super light, like almost like too light. This one has lots of water, so it actually feels relatively heavy right now. It has a bit of weight to it. That one there, once it gets really root bound, it makes it lighter too, because it sort of like dissolves the dirt. I guess it just pushes it out the top, and you water it away slowly in small increments. So what happens is it kind of gets lighter and lighter and lighter, and you really can't, like, this pot is mostly full of roots. It's very difficult to overwater it unless it's really cool temperatures. If you're cold, quick little pit stop here, guys. The joys of being a father. It's hard to get stuff done, but just bear with me. I thought I'd add this into the video. Whee! Ow! Okay, sorry about that. So there's Harley Quinn, my cat. Psst, psst, psst. Harley, you always gotta have a cat in the video. Psst, psst. She's a stone cold killer. So anyways, so as it basically gets lighter and lighter, so you pretty much can't overwater that, unless if it was 55, 45 Fahrenheit, if it 10 Celsius or something like that, and you're giving it lots of water, it could start to get root rot, because the water's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to evaporate. It's not going to and if it had bad soil, then you could start to get watering problems, where it's going to be getting too much water. But in a pot, it's pretty easy. Just make it a lighter mixture, add lots of perlite, lots of sand, very well drainage stuff. If you want, you could put some rocks or pebble or pea gravel or something like that in the bottom. You can just use like a cactus mix. You can take a regular soil and amend it with tons of vermiculite, perlite, anything you want, wood chips, bark chips, stuff like that, to lighten the load, to make it as light and as airy and non-holding water, to let the water go through it as quickly as possible. So that's the first tip, and that's basically what you should do in pots, and then water them as much as you want. I still don't. I wait until I know when it needs water, because I can feel it by the weight usually, because a lot of these I can't get my finger in the soil there, because the soil is sort of packed full of roots, because they're very root bound. Like if you look here, you're not getting your finger in most of these spots. It's all just roots everywhere, right? So and the cat in the background. So basically that's the key. If you have a bit more of, like, that one there was in like a potting soil for like flowers and stuff, so it holds a lot more moisture, so then you have to be a little more careful. Maybe don't water it so much, right? But if it's got a really fast draining mixture, you can water it very frequently. So anyways, that's the first thing. Now quick little freezy break here. Quick little freezy break. All right, we're gonna get through this here. Sorry about that, guys. So now for the palms in the ground, for your palm trees in the ground, depending on your soil type, I have fast draining soil here, but this one here I just planted recently, so I'm going to water it a lot. a lot being like at least once a week. If they're in the ground, like this palm here has been in the ground for 4 years now, almost 5 years. It doesn't need, it would rain enough here that it would never ever need water. If we get into a drought, and when I'm watering the grass, will I give it shots of water? Yes, I will, but it does not need water here. If a palm starts getting really thirsty, you will notice the fronds will start to close up. Usually the bottom ones will start to yellow and dry off. If it really needs water, you can pay attention to that. And if it's been really dry and all your grass, like all this grass would have to be dead, there'd have to be not very much moisture in the soil at all. You got to figure though, those roots go down 4 feet or more. They're tapping into lots of it, and as long as they stay a little bit moist, they can draw moisture out of the soil, and they get moisture out of the air as well, out of the humidity. So when they're in the ground, I only water them for the first year. So I plant everything in the spring here usually, and I'll water it through the summer. So, and that doesn't matter if your temperatures are really, really high. If it's in the ground like this, maybe you can water it a little more. Maybe if you want to put a drip irrigation, or maybe just put a regular irrigation. If you're in Florida in the summer and you plant a palmetto, you don't even really want the crown to dry out. So I've heard of some people putting drip irrigator. I water my palmetto over there, my sable palmetto. I water that from the crown sometimes as well. It does seem to like it. It does seem to kick up the speed of growth. So especially when you're first transplanting them, you might want to keep it watered all over. Most palms, I don't think that they really need or really benefits anything from putting water in the crown, because you're just kind of sitting there, and not sitting there because it kind of just spills out the sides, but you're just putting excess moisture and water in there and creating a chance for bacteria or mold or fungus or something. So I don't really do it, like I definitely don't do it with Mexican fan palms, and you don't really need to. Doesn't hurt though. Sable palmettos, they're used to getting flushed out with tons of water every day, all day in their native habitat in Florida. In the southeast United States, it rains pretty much every day, like a monsoon for like an hour at least, midday. So they don't mind it. In fact, I believe they like it. So for that palm, I do that. But all the rest, I just water the ground, just the roots. And you can water that when you've planted it that year, water it once a week. Or if it's very hot, if you're in the hundreds Fahrenheit, which would be, I'm guessing, like 40 Celsius, then water it. Ooh, the wind just kicked up. Then water it maybe once every other day. At the first couple days, just to get the air pockets out, I would definitely recommend, like I did water this one day, then the next day, then the next day. For the first few days, well, it's getting the air pockets out of the soil and stuff like that. And then after that, you can definitely taper off and go to once a week, sort of. If you keep having a big heat wave and you want to water it, you probably won't kill it by giving it too much water. Most people would underwater their first year. They won't give it enough, and it will die from that. So definitely go more. You're not probably going to kill it, because the water's just going to seep around the ground everywhere and stuff. So it's not going to, as long as you have a fairly decent soil, I don't think it's going to be a problem. If you don't have a decent soil, you should be amending it, digging it up deeper, and doing certain areas, like a bigger enough area that it has some room to sort of sink into some good soil anyways, that is fast draining. So I hope that answers the question, guys. Hopefully it wasn't terribly too long. And once they get established like this Mexican fan palm, you would never ever have to water that in Ontario anyways. Never get hot enough and dry enough. I'm pretty sure you don't even have to water these in Vegas. You could, but once they're established, they almost don't need any water. Just they'll take what comes from the sky and out of the atmosphere. So I would recommend, if you want them to grow faster, that you definitely could. Anyways, just thought I'd end off the beautiful Mexican fan palm here. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. More explainers coming up. And that's the palmetto that I do water from the crown. Later.